Our next speaker is Mr. Barry Mixon. Barry's been a Toastmaster since January 2009. He currently holds the designation of Advanced Communicator Silver, Advanced Leader Bronze, and for some of you that may remember, in 2009, his club, Barry, was the division champion and the runner-up district champion in the 2009 Toastmasters International World of Public Speaking. Barry is also the area governor of South 56, and as he says, he's a proud, paying member of the Talk of the Tower Club. He's also the owner of Gemological and Storytelling Services, where he tells stories about gemstones and people, as well as helps people discover their own voices as they tell their stories. Those of us who know Barry, he's known throughout the district as the Jedi. And in April, he'll be starting a new advanced professional storytelling Toastmasters Club called the Jedi Masters. Today's speech comes from the Toastmasters Success Communication Program and is entitled Creating Your Symphony. It'll be 10 to 12 minutes. Let's welcome to the lectern my partner, my brother from another mother, Mr. Barry Mixon, Creating Your Symphony.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. I, like Kathy, love music. I love all kinds of music. I love jazz, reggae, blues, and I really like Latin music. But when I need something special, something to truly stir my soul, I will always choose classical music. And although I enjoy the compositions of Bach, Beethoven, and even Tchaikovsky, my all-time favorite is, and shall always be, Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I don't remember how old I was, or even where I was the first time I heard Mozart. But what I do remember is the sound. It was so beautiful. From the first moment I knew that this was the sound that I had never heard, filled with such longing, such unfulfillable longing, that it seemed to me as if I was listening to the voice of God. Mozart was born January 27th, 1756, and he died December 5th, 1791. 35 years. That's all the time that the world had with him. 35 years. And yet in that short amount of time, he wrote over 600 pieces of music. Here's a man who wrote his first concerto at the age of 4, his first symphony at 7, a full-scale opera at the age of 12, 600 pieces of music, and many of them, like this one you're listening to now, were considered masterpieces at the time that he wrote them. And yet, he died, penniless, a pauper. He was buried in a potter's field in Vienna, Austria. But his music lives on. Over 200 years later, we are still talking about, and writing about, and listening to the concertos, to the operas, and to the symphonies of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. ladies and gentlemen, I can humbly stand before you today and tell you with no hesitation that I know exactly what Mozart felt when he wrote his symphonies. No, Jerry, I haven't become a genius. And Srini, I haven't written hundreds and hundreds of speeches. And Tim, the ones that I have written, most of them will never be considered masterpieces. But I know what it feels like to take the music that's inside of me, all of it, years and years of emotions and feelings, and compress it down into something that only lasts for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I know what it feels like to take that thing that I created and have it resonate with people that I don't even know. People whose backgrounds and experiences are totally different than my own. I know what it feels like to have people come up to me after my speech is over and thank me for making their lives just a little bit brighter, just a little more beautiful. I know what it feels like to create a sound that no one has ever heard. I know. And despite the fact that I have no musical talent whatsoever, I know what it feels like to create a symphony. Now, some of you are confused right now. Some of you are saying to yourself, wait a minute. I know what a symphony is. A symphony is a piece of music played by men and women sitting in a grand concert hall, an orchestra. Well, that's true, but that's not the real meaning of the word symphony. In Webster's, a symphony is defined as a harmony of sound. Go home, look it up. A harmony of sound. In fact, Webster's second definition for the word symphony is a harmony of any kind. Of any kind. So while it's true, a symphony is a harmony of musical instruments, but a symphony can also be a harmony of thoughts, and a harmony of ideas, and a harmony of emotions, and a harmony of feelings, and a harmony of words expressed by one person or a group of people. And that is why we're here today. See, ladies and gentlemen, in the 18th century, during Mozart's lifetime, if you wanted to be a classical composer of any note, pun intended, there was only one place to go: Vienna. Vienna, Austria was the center of the classical music universe. Sure, there were concert halls and instructors and musicians all over Europe, hundreds of them. But if you wanted to be the best, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms, and Mozart, there was only one place to go: Vienna. Period. 219 years later, the same is true for those of us who are Toastmasters. Sure, there are clubs all over the world. In fact, Srini can tell you there are 12,800 clubs in over 113 countries. And they all have meetings, 1 hour, 2 hours. They have presidents, they have VP of education, they have treasurers. But if you want to be the best, Greg Thompson, Jerry Evans, Prez, Olga Dempsey, there's only one place to go: District 30 Toastmasters. Yeah. District 30 Toastmasters is the center of the Toastmaster universe. Now, how do I know that? That's a good question. Most of us, when we walk through that door, saw a gym with basketball nets and bleachers, things like that, but it's so much more than that. Everyone, close your eyes. Just close your eyes for a moment and imagine a grand concert hall. And high above you on the ceilings are beautiful crystal chandeliers. And on the walls are exquisite tapestries. Now imagine yourself on stage, and in front of you are hundreds of people who have all come there for just one reason: for a chance to hear your voice, to hear your story, to hear the music that lives inside of your heart and inside of your mind. Now, open your eyes. See? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a gym. This is a magical place. This is a place where you can be anything you want. It's in this place that you can tell about that first kiss. It is here in this place that you can tell about the day that you realized that your mother really loved you. It's here that you can talk about that day that you snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. It is here that your dreams are not only expressed, but they can be heard. So, what do you say? Those of you who are members of District 30 Toastmasters, what do you say when people ask you about Toastmasters? When you go home and people ask you about your club, what do you say? When they ask you about your place? My suggestion? Don't tell them what's in the book. This is the Competent Communicator Manual. And there's more than enough time to talk about what it takes to be a CC, or how many speeches you need to be a DTM, or how many points you need to be a distinguished club. They didn't come here for that. Instead, tell them your story. Tell them what Toastmasters, what this place has done for you. And if you haven't been in Toastmasters long enough to know your story, tell them what I tell them. Tell them that this is the place where dreams come true. If only for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Tell them that this is the place that your passions, your visions, your ideas, tell them that this is the place where anything is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, go home to your clubs and stand in the middle of your clubs with your arms extended out as far as they can and say, this is the place where each and every meeting that they attend, they will have the opportunity to hear a harmony of sounds. And lastly, and most importantly, tell them that this is the place, this is the time, this is the moment, this is the opportunity, this is the chance for them to do the exact same thing that Mozart did over 200 years ago. A chance to hear the music that lives inside of them and share it with the world. Tell them that this is the place where you can finally create your symphony. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Barry. I think if you were not moved by that, you better check your pulse. Just to make sure you're still breathing. And I don't mean from climbing the 632 stairs.